SCP-035, the anomalous mask made famous in SCP Containment Breach, is known to take full control over the host organism that wears it. In one of our last videos, we explored what would happen if SCP-682 wore the mask. But what would happen if we combined 035 with another very powerful SCP, namely SCP-106? In this SCP Exploration episode, we try to answer this question. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel with notifications on, so you don't miss any of our upcoming Exploring SCP videos, as soon we are testing another very famous SCP with SCP-035. Firstly, we need to ask ourselves whether the mask could even possess SCP-106 in the first place. In SCP-035's wiki entry, it is stated that the mask only affects human subjects, and tests with animals have had no anomalous results. And as we discussed in our Who is SCP-106 video, which you should definitely check out if you haven't already, the old man was originally a researcher that was trapped in SCP-3001 and mutated into the now famous anomaly. This leaves us wondering if SCP-106 is human enough to be possessed by SCP-035. But in the Mysterious Masks wiki entry, it is stated that besides humans, 035 can also possess anything that has a humanoid shape, such as mannequins, corpses, and statues. This means that SCP-035 should have no problems controlling the old man and using his powers to its advantage. Secondly, we need to quickly remind ourselves of the anomalous mask's destructive effects. In SCP-035's wiki entry, we see that it secretes a highly corrosive and degenerative viscous liquid from its eye and mouth holes that causes all matter that comes into contact with the liquid to slowly decay. This effect is not only present when the mask is in containment, but also when SCP-035 has a host organism or object, which is why all humans that wear the mask slowly decompose until they are turned into a mummified corpse. This effect means that SCP-035 cannot permanently possess an organism and must switch hosts periodically. But this reminds us of the corrosive substance SCP-106 uses to degrade its containment cell and to attack human subjects. Both liquids appear very similar. They're both black, corrosive, and produced through anomalous means. The important question is whether SCP-106 would be immune to the destructive capabilities of 035's liquid. In order to answer this question, we need to refer to SCP-106's origin. As we already said, the transformation from human to monster found place in SCP-3001, a mysterious alternate dimension that causes all matter inside of it to slowly decompose and eventually turn into nothingness. If SCP-106 survived this alternate dimension, then it should have no problems surviving SCP-035's own corrosive substance. Not to mention that the two anomalies' black viscous liquids are probably very similar in composition, given their similar look and effects, so the old man would probably feel right at home wearing the mask and having its liquid on him. Which means that having SCP-106 wear 035 would mean to allow the SCP mask to find a permanent host, something it has only dreamed of till now. But in one of our last videos, we discussed the possibility of SCP-682 wearing 035, so why would the mask want to be worn by the old man, when 682 is physically more powerful, more durable, and more than likely indestructible? As discussed in our SCP-682 vs SCP-035 video, combining the indestructible lizard's power with the mask's intelligence, manipulation, and telepathy would make the SCP combo very difficult to contain. The mask-wearing lizard can fight off all attackers, or if it doesn't want to, it can use 035's telepathy to persuade the SCP personnel to leave it alone. And we probably wouldn't be able to remove the mask either, as SCP-682's adaptation properties would allow the combination to build armor around the mask. But let's be real, Being worn by the indestructible lizard would attract a bit too much unwanted attention for SCP-035's taste. Let's not forget that the mask takes pleasure in manipulating people, playing with their minds and driving them mad, not constantly being on the run from MTF personnel on top of its host. The mask wants to be discreet, and breaching with SCP-682 is everything but discreet. We are talking about one of the most powerful SCPs in the Foundation, after all. Such a high-level breach would result in serious SCP task force operations. The 682-035 combination would have to go through constant waves of attackers. They probably won't ever be left alone due to how high-profile a target SCP-682 is. And there wouldn't be any way of avoiding this, of course, as the indestructible lizard isn't capable of teleportation or bending reality, which is where SCP-106 comes into play. Yes, the Old Man is also very powerful, and there will be serious SCP Task Force recontainment operations as a result, but as we know, SCP-106 can disappear into solid matter and go back to its pocket dimension, which would allow it to escape every time. So what would this newly formed SCP combination do once out in the real world? As discussed in our SCP-682 vs 035 video, the anomalous mask is very intelligent and charismatic, but highly manipulative, capable of forcing sudden and profound changes to an interviewer's psychological state. It is also quite sadistic, prompting some to commit suicide and transforming others into near-mindless servants with linguistic persuasion alone. Using SCP-106's powers, the entity can not only manipulate people as it wants to, but it can also drag them back to the Old Man's pocket dimension, where it can continue its mind torture games totally undisturbed, something SCP-035 has probably only dreamed of. Allowing the SCP mask to be worn by the Old Man would essentially grant all of SCP-035's wishes, to have a permanent host, to be uncontainable, and to be able to manipulate and torture people without any disturbances. Whereas SCP-106 can spend months in dormancy, remaining completely motionless, the SCP-035 and 106 combo would probably be active 24/7, kidnapping and torturing people's minds in the alternate dimension, one after another. Recontainment would also be extremely difficult. As depicted in the famous SCP Containment Breach game, SCP-106 is recontained using a D-class that has his or her femur broken in the Old Man's containment chamber, which lures the anomaly in and then traps it. This method has been used on more than one occasion, and has worked flawlessly till now, leading us to believe that SCP-106 isn't very smart, as it would have realized how the trap works and learned to avoid it by now. But let's not forget that SCP-035 has scored in the 99th percentile of intelligence and aptitude tests administered to it, so the mask would probably be quick to realize it is being lured into a containment chamber. So if we can't get the SCP-035 and 106 combo back to the original containment, how do we capture it? The Old Man is held in containment using a lead-lined steel container comprising of 40 layers that is suspended in mid-air using powerful magnets. If we can't get the SCP combo to enter the old containment chamber, then we need to build a new one around it. But this is near impossible, as we have no means of holding the anomaly in one place. It can quickly escape back to the pocket dimension, or use telepathy to convince the SCP security personnel to attack each other and let it go. Perhaps the only thing left to try out is to deploy powerful reality anchors, devices which protect against the influence of reality-bending phenomena, to prevent the SCP-035-106 combo from entering our reality after it flees to its pocket dimension. But we would need to deploy reality anchors all around the world, of course, which is not only impractical, but probably impossible. So in the end, if we were to merge SCP-035 with 106, we would probably have to live with the consequences, namely the fact that people would be kidnapped on a daily basis and would never return. No one wants to experience mind torture like in the movie Saw, which is why preventing SCP-106 from wearing SCP-035 should be one of the Foundation's top priorities. This concludes our video on the SCP-106 vs SCP-035 experiment. So what do you think? Would SCP-035 prefer to be worn by 106 rather than 682? And what other SCP experiments would you like to see next? Let us know in the comments below. Please make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy this type of content, as we have many more interesting exploring SCP videos coming up. And as always, we will see you in the next video.